Hello, this is Wangbin. I am from Fuzhou University, China. In this paper, we introduced the multi-modality registration network. We proposed the specially encoded gradient information, which could capture structured representations from different modalities of medical images. Based on the information, we can use it to train an unsupervised registration network. This is the main content of my presentation. First, I will give a brief introduction about medical image registration problem. Then I will detail talk about the architecture of the registration network and how to train the network based on the proposed specially encoded gradient information. In the experiment part, we will demonstrate our method based on two public medical image datasets. Finally, I will give a summary about my presentation. Registration is a critical method for medical image analysis. Given a moving and a fixed image, registration aims to find the transformation parameters between these two images. Based on the predicted transformation parameters, we can warp the moving image into a moved one. Here, the most important part of a registration method is to define a similarity metric between the fixed and the moved image. The metric can measure how much the moved and the fixed image are aligned. Then, the transformation parameters could be predicted by maximizing the similarity metric. In this work, we aim to perform multi-modality medical image registration such as CT and MRI images. So it is critical to define a similarity metric between the multi-modality images. A common way is to use the gradient information because the image structures can be described by the intensity changes. So these two gradient information could represent the structures of the original intensity images. Therefore, the transformation parameters between this moving and fixed image can be obtained by maximizing the similarity of the gradient information. However, when we take a close look at the gradient information, it may usually contain noises due to the quality of the original intensity images. In our pre-experiments, we found that it may also affect the convergence of the optimization. To address this problem, we propose specially encoded gradient information, SEGI. The idea of the specially encoded gradient information is quite straightforward. For each spatial point x, we accumulate the gradient information around the x and generate a more robust structural representation. In practice implementation, we can introduce the Gaussian kernel to convolute the original gradient information. Then we can obtain a more robust spatially encoded gradient information. Moreover, we can use multiple Gaussian kernels and obtain multiple corresponding spatially encoded gradient information. Here, we display three examples of spatially encoded gradient information. They are obtained by using different Gaussian kernels. Based on the proposed gradient information, we can use it as a more robust representation of the intensity image and apply it for network training. And our registration network is based on a U-shaped unit network. It takes a pair of multi-modality images as input and generates a pair of forward and backward deformation fields. To train this neural network, we construct a loss function based on the proposed spatially encoded gradient information. Since they are structure representations of the original mathematical image, we can train this neural network by minimizing the structural difference between the moved and the fixed image. Therefore, we define a loss function as follows, like this one. It just calculates a difference between two spatially encoded gradient information. One is from the moving image and another one is from the fixed image. Here we also had some operation because we may have multiple Gaussian kernels. This is a key loss function for our registration network. We evaluate our method on two public datasets. One of them is the whole heart segmentation dataset. We perform registration on the left ventricle regions. Here we display two samples from the dataset. We perform CT and MR image registration in these tasks. The red curve delineates the myocardium or the blood pools in the moving or moved image, and the blue curves indicate the myocardium and the blood pool in fixed images. We compared our network with several state-of-the-art registration methods. These two are convenient registration methods from the ANT software package, and this is the VoxMorph, one of the most successful registration network. Visually, our method could obtain a comparable result to the VoxMorph. The last column here is the moved image produced by our method. We can see it is spatially aligned to the fixed image. This table presents the quantitative result of different methods. We calculated the dice score and the ASD between the regions, which is marked by the red and the blue curves. One can see from the table, our method could obtain comparable result to the VoxMorph in this dataset, and the result is consistent to the visual result in the last slide. We also evaluated our method on chaos dataset. In this dataset, we have performed the registration for the liver images. Here we have two types of MR images, T1 and T2, and the fixed image is a CT image. As marked by the yellow arrows, we can see our method perform a good visual result in this dataset. And also, the last column demonstrates the moved image of our method. This table presents the DICE and the ASD result of different methods on the chaos dataset. We can see in this dataset, our method obtained a promising performance. Now let's give a brief summary for this paper. In this paper, we first proposed a spatially encoded gradient information. Based on the information, we can train an unsupervised multi-modality registration network. And we also applied our network on public medical dataset for heart and liver registration tasks. And we had obtained a promising performance on both datasets. Thank you for your time.